Hello, and welcome to the Intel Brief, your daily intelligence briefing on global geopolitics. Today is Friday, 18 October. I'm your host Daniel, the founder of HM Intelligence, and every weekday we bring you not just the news, but the so what from the events and decisions that shape our world. So grab a coffee and get ready to be informed. In today's update, we'll be covering Biden is in Berlin for talks on Ukraine and the Middle East. Hamas has vowed to hold the hostages until the war in Gaza ends, and South Korea says North Korean soldiers are in Ukraine. So firstly, during a joint press conference ahead of closed-door talks in Berlin, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and US President Joe Biden reaffirmed their strong support for Ukraine in the face of Russia's ongoing invasion. Scholz emphasized Germany's commitment to aiding Ukraine while ensuring that NATO remains a non-participant in the conflict to prevent further escalation. He commended NATO's unity in defending every part of its territory, while Biden praised Scholz for reversing Germany's long-standing policy against sending weapons to conflict zones. Biden acknowledged the importance of Germany's increased defense spending and pledged ongoing support for Ukraine, highlighting the critical nature of their combined effort in securing European stability and deterring authoritarian aggression. In a symbolic gesture, German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier awarded Biden with the highest class of the Grand Cross of the Order of the Merit for his dedication to strengthening transatlantic relations. Biden expressed his deep connection with Germany, recalling his first visit as a young senator and praising Germany's role in European unification. He also warned of the continued threat posed by Russia's war in Ukraine, urging sustained efforts in difficult months ahead. So what? While Biden and the current administration clearly wants to support Ukraine, most eyes are currently on the election and what the next government will look like. Trump has made it clear that he thinks that this conflict can be solved quickly. However, this would likely come at the cost of Ukrainian land, something they are unwilling to accept at this stage. Europe, too, appears nervous about the next US government, something they will soon need to deal with. And next, Hamas has declared that it will not release hostages held in Gaza until the current conflict with Israel ends and Israeli forces withdraw. Kahil Hayya, the deputy leader of Hamas in Gaza, emphasized his stance, stating that the hostages would not be freed before cessation of hostilities. Currently, around 100 hostages remain in Gaza, with Israel reporting that at least 30 of them are believed to be dead. These individuals were captured in the October 7th attacks on Israel, carried out by Hamas and other militant groups. Meanwhile, tensions are escalating on Israel's northern border with Lebanon as the IDF announced the deployment of additional reserve brigades in response to ongoing clashes with Hezbollah militants. Hezbollah has declared the conflict is entering a new phase, and Israel has committed to continuing its operations in the region to secure its northern border and counter the threat posed by Hezbollah. So what? Sadly, I'm not surprised that Hamas has taken this view. However, it is highly likely the conflict will therefore continue. It is likely that many were hopeful that with the death of Sinwar, Hamas would at least release some of the hostages and reconstruction could begin within Gaza. Time will tell how Hamas feels. It could take some time, but they will almost certainly be back. Meanwhile, Israel will likely take this chance to focus on Hezbollah in the north. At the end of the day, this conflict does not appear to be cooling down anytime soon. And lastly, South Korea's National Intelligence Service has reported that North Korea has begun sending troops to Russia to support its war effort in Ukraine. An initial contingent of 1,500 Special Forces soldiers were deployed to Russia's Vladivostok via Russian Navy transport ship, with a total of 12,000 troops, including 4 brigades of Special Forces, are expected to be sent. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol held an emergency security meeting, citing that this troop deployment poses a significant threat to both South Korea and the international community. According to the NIS, these North Korean soldiers are being issued Russian uniforms, weapons, and forged IDs, and are stationed in several military bases across Russia. Satellite images have shown Russian naval movements, suspected North Korean military activity in the region. Despite Russia's denial of these reports, with Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov dismissing them as fake news, Ukrainian officials claim to have already detected the presence of North Korean officers in Russian-occupied regions in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky revealed that North Korea is preparing 10,000 soldiers for deployment, with tactical personnel and officers reportedly already on the ground in Ukraine. This collaboration between Russia and North Korea marks a new escalation in the conflict and further strains relations between the Korean countries, intensifying concerns about regional and global security. So what? I find this move quite strange, as the one thing that Russia does not really lack is troop numbers. So why have they turned to North Korea for more troops? One possibility is that Russia lacks troops with a reasonable level of training and has to rely more and more on fresh conscripts. Another option is that North Korea has sent them as part of some kind of deal, exchanging them for money or, more likely, technology around the nuclear and missile departments. Regardless, it is unlikely that these troops will make a decisive change to the battlefield. However, we will see how this plays out. Thank you for listening to the Intel Brief, your daily intelligence briefing on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. If you want to support the podcast, tell your friends to help them stay informed, and leave us a 5-star review. Or if you want to learn more about intelligence, why not take one of our courses? They're all online, self-paced, and affordable. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.